if you want to become an actor in the Hindi film industry, and actually now in any industry, there's one person that you definitely go to and give auditions to. And I'm actually standing, my background is the app of this particular person's casting agency. It's Mukesh Chhabra Casting Agency. Now, I'm standing in Aramnagar, which is considered the mecca of everybody who wants to act in Bollywood. Earlier, it used to be that people would get off from the station or airport and directly come over to give an audition. The story about casting directors is very interesting because you will see different voices telling us how they choose the people that we finally see on screen and they become stars. The 3 to 5 actors that were your best finds.
I think बहुत सारे हैं. There's so many of them I can mention, but few of them are my favorites. Like how Rajkumar Rao met Hansel Mehta sir. I said, please meet this actor. He's a great. I've auditioned him many times. One of the best actor I've met. Please meet him. मैंने इसका वासीपुर भी किया है. Just meet him for 5 minutes. तो he was making film called Shahid. तो ऐसे एक बार मिल लो, चाय के लिए मिल लो. He said ठीक है भेज दे. तो उनको मिले वो चाय के लिए 5 मिनट के लिए मिले. Now they've been working together for the last 12 years. On every film you see, there's Rajkumar. Yeah, and the one very famous, which I think everyone knows, I mentioned many times, is Pankaj Tripathi for Gangster Gossip. Anurag Kashyap, I had no idea about him. And I said, I like this actor because I've done a film called Jindal Party with him. A great actor. I've known, because NSD ke time I know Pankaj Tripathi. So he wanted a mother actor. I said, let's do one thing, let's audition everyone. Pankaj came down from Chennai. He auditioned for Red Park and he killed it. And that's how he got Sultan. And of course, fight with Amir Sir and Nitesh Tiwari and Tanya Fatima, long process, shortlisting. Fight with, Imtiaz and Imtiaz's brother on Tripti Dimri and Ramesh Tiwari for Laila Majnu. I think it has बहुत सारे ऐसे incident जिक्र लोग like a fight with Gattu on Sushant Singh Rajput for Gai Poche. I think ये सबके साथ जो हुआ है incident है जो मुझे अभी तक हमेशा याद रहते हैं.
What is something that you want to get for yourself in the next 10 years for sure?
For 10 years, I want to open more offices, small branch of MCC in every part of the country. And just small training institute, so that जो जिन लोगों को guidance नहीं मिल रहा, जो बॉम्बे नहीं आ सकते, at least I can be there and open small branches for them so that they can follow their dreams. I really want to help जितने लोगों को भी actor बनना है. I really want to help everyone to follow your dream. Whether you want to get into acting, singing, dancing, I can just guide as many people I can. I'm going to do that for the rest of my life.
And Oscar.
ऑस्कर तो आई थिंक आप अपनी जॉब को लेकर इतने साल आपने किसी जॉब में दिया है और आपको लगता है कि यार अब एक बड़ा जो ऑस्कर ने स्टार्ट किया है कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर को उसमें इंक्लूड करके मुझे लगता है कि मुझे अपने इस देश के लिए इंडिया के लिए ऑस्कर लेकर आना है. एंड आई एम मैनिफेस्टिंग एंड वर्किंग एवरी डे एक्स्ट्रा हार्ड फॉर दैट. आई वर्क वेरी हार्ड फॉर कास्टिंग एंड आई वांट टू वर्क एक्स्ट्रा हार्ड तो आई कैन ब्रिंग ऑस्कर टू द इंडिया. पीपल थिंक अवार्ड से कुछ होता नहीं. आई थिंक ऑस्कर से बहुत कुछ हुआ एंड आई थिंक आई विल गेट इट.
And some of your favorite films that you've helped cast and they have become memorable?
बहुत सारी हैं. I've done more than 300 films, maybe more than that now. I think जो बहुत favorite है, I think would say Gangs of Wasseypur that changed my life. I had Dangal, Bajrangi Bhaijaan because of Monni, and there is a D-Day, there's Chiller Party, Super 30, Jawan, Kai Poche, Three New Boys, Shahid, Hansel Mehta, Shahid. I think बहुत सारी ऐसी फिल्में जो I can say not 5 there are many. Yeah.
Chhabra is also the first casting director to not just go corporate but launch his own app. He has cast for more than 380 films and shows, including Dangal, The Family Man, Delhi Crime, Chamkila, and Jawan. There's no set science to casting somebody. You can also be an actor while being a casting director. In fact, from the conversations that I've had, what I've learned is sometimes it's actually easier if you're an actor because you're able to give better cues to the other people who are there in audition. And there's a history of a lot of actors who are now becoming casting directors so that they can better their art. And I'm going to speak to somebody like that who's a very known face as an actor, but also has a history of being a casting director for at least 10 years in the industry now. Okay, I want to know 5 actors at the top of your head that you've cast, which were completely fresh faces.
Siddhant Chaturvedi, Zishan Ayub, very recently Abhay Verma. I think the entire cast of Panchayat. I mean, I would say everybody is special. Mithila Palkar. and many more. Like, there are many who I can now think of right now when you're asking me.
Okay, is there any show or film in particular that you remember where there was a lot of resistance and eventually the director or producer went with it and it turned out to be really amazing?
I think Bulbul, Avinash Tiwari and Tripti Dimri. Because that's where they were already done a film called Laila Majnu. And we were trying to look for a good couple. And somehow I thought that they did not get their due in the film because they were very good. The film was great. But somehow they did not get noticed. And I really wanted to bring them back together. And that's how Bulbul happened. So, yeah.
Okay. So any rejections in terms of auditions which later you thought were maybe we could have changed something and gotten them in? Any particular film or
from the directors rejecting?
No, from your end. Maybe an audition didn't really work out
Me?
for some. No, I meant like if you were casting somebody and you
rejected somebody.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember something like that. I mean, I would never reject a good actor. So I would always fight for them. So I know Siddhant got rejected many times when we used to try and cast him. Abhay Verma got rejected many times. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I would always fight for the actors. Even now, I do that.
And maybe we could just add a bit about your own if you're okay with talking about the Ghan Chakkar bit that you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, I got rejected. That was a very wrong call. No, I think Namit Das was great. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But yeah, I felt very bad when I got rejected. And I also realized that how bad actors must be feeling when they do not get a particular role. So I think we treat them and we always treat this very delicately, especially when they're getting rejected for a role. So yeah.
Just the last question. What is that one thing that you need as a casting director to absolutely have in you if you want to pursue it as a profession?
Well, you need to love stories, because if you love stories and if you love storytelling, I think that's very important, and observation. You have to have fun with observation. Like, when you go to airports, when you are sitting at coffee shops, you're looking at different people. So, the mind just starts functioning on its own, right? Who can be what in a particular film. But I think more importantly, you should really, really enjoy stories. If you enjoy stories, you'll be a good casting director. Okay, now that we have a category, at least in Oscar, if not in India, about casting and awarding that whole experience, where do you see 5 years or 10 years from now, do you have any vision that this is what casting might look like? मुझे बस एक ही विजन है कि बस अच्छे एक्टर्स को कास्ट करते रहें हम लोग, और उसको कास्ट करने के लिए कोई भी लिमिटेशंस ना हो. No follower casting, no this casting, that casting. It should be proper, pure casting. I think that's enough award for me, at least, as a casting director. We don't need any award. Just cast the good actors we are presenting. That's all. At a time when casting conjured up images, in many cases, unfortunately or rightly, of sleazy producers or directors asking aspiring actors to sleep with them to secure a role, Chhabra and Banerjee started out building their respective brands. Banerjee has done casting for shows like Patal Lok, Panchayat, Mirzapur, and movies like Kathal, Vikram Vedha, and Bheria. Another big budget show that hit the screen and subsequently climbed Ormax ratings with rapid speed was Made in Heaven, created by Zoya Akhtar and Reema Kakti. Its casting was done by Nandini Shrikant and her partner Karan Mali. The duo have shows like Dahar, films like Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, and the upcoming Jigra to their credit. Let's start with 3 actors that in particular are memorable for you, or in terms of casting experience, or the roles they did.
So, the first film I did with my casting partner, I'd been casting for a long time, and then Karan Mali and I decided to form a partnership for casting. And our first film was Tumhari Sulu. And Manav Kaul's casting was quite memorable, because I think it triggered and started him off on a very interesting journey. He was always a theatre gentleman, directing plays, writing books, writing plays, living in the hills, coming back, and the proper theatre life. And he'd done films before. It's not like this was his first film, but things changed after Tumhari Sulu, and it was interesting to watch his journey, because he's a good actor, and he played a role opposite, a kind and loving role opposite. He played a kind and loving role opposite Vidya Balan. The film was a feel-good film, so it all sort of came together very nicely. So that's one actor. We then worked with him on Fame Game, and also on this fantastic show that is never going to see the day of light called Government, that Amazon produced. Yeah. Dil Dharakne Do, lots of actors were to cast, lots of aunts, uncles, cousins, family members, apart from the key core family that the story is based on. But one of our nicest callbacks, and I was very pleased with that it had worked out, was with Vikrant Massey. And he'd done a role, I mean, I knew who he was, of course, and I'd been seeing his work, but I particularly liked him in Loot Tera, particularly. And they shot in Dalhousie, which is a very special place in my heart. And so I watched the film with great enthusiasm. And I really liked Vikrant in that film, so I was super glad that it worked out and he was in Dil Dharakne Do. In Wake Up Sid, apart from, I mean, because it was Ayan's first film, every character was important. Every we did lots of discussions and auditions for every character. So it was lovely that the friends came together with Namit Das and Shikha Talsania. That worked very well, and I think that stayed quite iconically with us. I mean, we discussed the film recently and we talked a lot about it. I just want to add that though Vijay Verma had done a lot of interesting work before Gully Boy, it was a game changer for him, and that was fun to watch because he came in like a good actor. He auditioned, he got the role, and then the film actually starts on his face, and you never forget him.
I want to ask about the casting of Made in Heaven season 1 in particular. It was such a breakout show. And in particular about the two characters, right? Lead, which is played by Sobhita, and Jazz, which became a very fan favorite, I think, over time. And she plays a very Dwarka, girl. So tell us about the casting of these two actors.
So Karan Mali and I did extensive auditions for the role Shobhita played Tara because it was like the super lead. And the story is based on the wedding planning company that she and Arjun Mathur have. Karan, his character's name is Karan. So Shobhita's audition, her character comes from the wrong side of the track but is now extremely polished and full of finesse. And Shobhita got those nuances right, and that really worked for her when we cast the show. She was an up-and-coming actress at that point anyway. I mean, she was known. And my partner, Karan Mali, was very keen we test her, and for good reason, because she kind of got those little bits right. Jazz, as in Shivani Raghuvanshi, she's pitch perfect for the role. She's got that North vibe, the Delhiite. She played, and also she's thrust into this rather fancy world of these wedding planners and high heels and stilettos and foo-foo-fa-fa. And her reactions were very on point for her character. They were very realistic, She was impressed. She wanted to be a part of it, but she was also an interesting viewpoint and an interesting eye. So she got those nuances very well.
Okay, on an average, if I had to ask, how many auditions were taken or given or whatever for each of these roles? Would you remember, like a rough number?
Approximately about 60.
Each character?
Yeah.
And how many rounds did the final, both Sobhita and Shivangi gave final? Like, was it once or did they have to? Okay. Last, I wanted to ask what we had mentioned, the rejections. If there's something that you can remember in terms of somebody you didn't take and later would have thought, but would have fit perfectly, if you're looking back in retrospect, anything like that?
Not really.
Okay.
No, now what now? I'm just thinking. Retrospectively, first of all, once it's out, is out. The film is out. No. I mean, maybe within the confines of my office, I have told my partner, casting partner, that this particular walk-on role could have been played better by a particular actor, but not really. Usually we're pretty on point. We're pretty on point in our casting.
Okay. The last, what are the upcoming projects that you're very excited about in terms of something that's fresh and surprising?
So we have Superman of Malegaon, that's been directed by Reema Kakti, produced by excellent Tiger Baby. It's an outstanding story. It's based on a documentary, and it is it's all about love for cinema, actually. And let's face it, all of us work in the industry because of our love for cinema. And it's set in Malegaon. It's a small town film, but with the biggest heart I've ever seen in a movie. Off the cuff, Bhavna's and the costumes for it also. And I've seen a first cut of it, and it's really beautiful, funny, touching, and just all in all, excellent film. We have Yudhra coming, which is an action film with Siddhant Chaturvedi and Malvika Mohanan. It's a genre film directed by Ravi Udyavar. I think it'll be slick and exciting and fun to watch. So looking forward to that. That also has Raghav Juyal in a shady-ish role. So I'm interested to see how that's worked out, especially because he's just done Kill and we had no idea what Kill when that happened. Agni, which is a film about firefighters, that's directed by Rahul Dholakia. That's set in Bombay. We have Pratik Gandhi playing the lead role, and he really fits the role beautifully, as do the rest of the firefighters, and it's come together very well. Jitendra Joshi is in the movie, among other actors. And that's like a local film, so that's got something interesting. And then we have Aryan Khan's directorial debut, which is currently in the editing stage. So looking forward to that. That's set in Bollywood, and that's a subject that the director knows very well. So that was very interesting to work on. That's a new generation of
Filmmakers.
Bollywood, a new generation of filmmakers coming out. And we have Jigra, which is Vasan Wala's, which we're so proud to be a part of. And that has the ephemeral Alia, Vedang Raina, who was also an Archie's, and a stellar supporting cast. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Films and even casting has now become collaborative and global. One key name in this aspect of crossover or indie films, especially which transcends borders, is Tess Joseph. She started her journey with Meera Nair's The Namesake and followed it up with Lion, Extraction, The White Tiger, and most recently, Monkey Man.
When we began on White Tiger, it was a skeletal team. There was Ramin Bahrani, our director, Mukul Deora, our producer, and then we came on, that's me and my team. Ramin and I jammed on a couple of phone calls on Zoom, and we were absolutely in sync of how we saw the casting. And I have to salute him, because it is such a delight to work with a director who comes into a new country and a culture like a sponge, who's willing to listen and absorb everything before taking a decision on things. And we were very clear, I think, about Balram being whoever it was, whether known or unknown as an actor, but we were very clear about Balram being a character who could be invisible, who could just blend into the teeming millions of this country. And that somehow brought this conundrum of, would that ever be possible with someone super known? And it balanced, and it just kind of tilted towards, it had to be a new actor. And it had to be someone young, someone willing to put in the time. I still remember we must have seen for Balram itself, oh God, like I think about 350, 400 people, because it's quite specific. I'm not talking about the initial level tapes, but seen in person. Adarsh came in towards the end. He was on a long shortlist, which was when Ramin came to Bombay for the first time. And he was already shining through in the rounds. He was up there as a top choice. And then he just proved to everybody that he could do it. And I have to say that with Ramin, once you get cast, you have to be part and parcel of the process. So Adarsh was on every audition that happened after. He would sit and do lines, and I think it almost made the script muscle memory for him, but also gave him place to kind of improvise and play and work with different actors he would potentially be working with. And then also what I thought was great was that Adarsh really wanted to get wanted to almost make Balram part of his DNA. So even though he has grown up in Jamshedpur, he went back, he lived in a village for about a month. But my favorite moment with Adarsh was when we were still casting for characters out of Delhi, and he was in the room with us whenever there were scenes with Balram. We were both staying at the ITC, but Adarsh would wear the same clothes, step out, and hope to get a job as a daily wage worker. And I still remember the day when he came back and he had actually been picked to do labor. And here is this boy who's literally going back to a fancy hotel, eating a good meal there, or where we would have breakfast together. And then he would step out and he would completely work to try and find that invisibility in him. And I think that was brilliant.
Joseph also shared what it means for names like Priyanka Chopra and Rajkumar Rao to take up the roles they did.
In terms of Raj Kumar Rao and Priyanka Chopra, they all did rounds of auditions. I think Priyanka, I have to say, is all heart and just guts and glory. She really, and she said it many times on her interviews, that she worked to get this role, and she did whatever is required. And I think that's what an actor does. Sometimes directors otherwise think, oh, this actor can only do this and that role. And I love it when an actor, who would traditionally be offered a part, wants to prove to you that, guess what, I could do this also. And I'm willing to do whatever you want me to do. In the sense of, I will take direction, I will take your notes, and I will show you that I can be her. And similarly with Raj, I think Raj was one actor that Ramin was absolutely flawed by in terms of his talent and the kind of films that he had done. He came in so graciously and he just read. And he did a brilliant job. And he again did a lot of prep for the role, because in many ways he isn't traditionally that idea of the Indian successful businessman or the foreign returned businessman, which you would see in a lot of possibly Bollywood cinema. But Raj again, did everything that was needed to embody it. And that's the kind of actors we had. And I love that we created this triangle which supported themselves brilliantly. And I like to believe a triangle is the most, if I'm not wrong, the structure which has the most balance and stability. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. Like a triangle, we created a cast which was a triangle which had the most brilliant stability with Adarsh as Balram, Pinky, Priyanka, and then Raj Kumar Rao as Ashok, and they all kind of connected and held each other together. And I have to give credit to Ramin for that, because you also have to be brave. When you bring a film like White Tiger, which everybody knows, when you're bringing a book that everyone knows and is craving to make, to be just stand your own. And that's a wonderful quality to have in a director. So I have to salute him in that. And then it becomes much easier for us as casting directors to support a vision and surprise your director when they're that open and they're happy to be, like, they're happy to surrender to the process.
There is no one formula to becoming a casting director. There is no one recipe that gives you the actor or the face that you're looking for. But there's one thing that's consistent, which is hard work and the fact that actors have to really, really, really be great at their job. Nobody spots people at cafes and immediately they become actors. Everybody has to go through rounds of audition, through approvals from directors to producers, even after the casting director has finalized them. So it's a long process. And yet, these are the people who make the common people stars, and they continue to do so. And now, as a new category for awarding casting directors are finally announced at the Oscars, let's hope Indian film industry also finally recognizes the people who does the hard work of finding those faces that make us say, wow, what a casting. This is Tina Das reporting from Mumbai. And for more such stories, do follow our social media handles and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.